Good morning. Today we are going to deal with our third module itself, and the portions which we are going to cover today is tsunami. And we know that the third module has the topics which are concerned with floods, then coastal disasters like cyclones, tsunamis, and its nature of impacts. In this, floods we have already studied. Now we are moving on to the part tsunamis. So basically, what is tsunami? Tsunami means it is a series of waterways which is caused by the displacement of a large volume of a water body. Usually it's an ocean. Okay, and basically it is resulted due to abrupt disturbances. Okay, and it is a series of waves which can be caused by earthquake, might be due to volcanic eruption, landslides, or any disturbance. They are capable of creating massive devastation when they hit the land. And moreover, the word tsunami comes from the Japanese word. That means tsu, which means harbor, okay, and nami, which means wave. Okay, so basically this tsunami means harbor wave. Okay, so this basic causes of tsunamis are earthquake, volcanic eruption, underwater explosions, and meteorite impacts. Okay, and this we have discussed right now. That means tsunami in Japanese word tsu means harbor and nami means waves. They are called tidal waves, but they have actually nothing to do with the tides. However, their appearance from shore is similar to rapidly rising or falling tides. Okay, the tsunami is a series of waves created when water is moved very quickly. So this is caused due to some of the disturbances which we have already discussed. So tsunami is gravity wave system triggered by vertical disturbances in ocean. They are long waves, sometimes with hundreds of miles between their crest, just like the concentric waves generated by an object dropped onto a pool. Suppose if you are dropping an object into the pool, see, it will create a small vibration, right? So likewise, the tsunami is also happening due to the disturbances which are caused on the oceans. So let's deal with the major causes. That means we have discussed that earthquake is one of the major cause for tsunami to occur. So in this case, the sea floor abruptly deforms and displaces the sea water lying above. Large vertical movements of earth crust can occur at plate boundaries, which are called the fault. So this earthquake movement or the large vertical movements of the earth crust will cause this tide waves to move in such a way as it will cause great destruction to the shore area. Then volcanic eruption. Volcanic eruption create disturbances by creating great force, and thus it will generate tsunami. Then ice fall. If their height is larger than their width, they can be unstable, following break off and rollover, potentially creating giant waves. Icebergs, capsizing forces, the least recognized practical hazard to human of the tsunami causing mechanism related to calving of ice masses. So you know, ice, like the huge masses of ice, if they are breaking on suddenly, it will cause the huge amount of water to flow. So that will be a reason for another tsunami. Then heavy rainfall causes overflow of water and it will generate tsunamis. Then cosmic impacts. When meteorite or an alien force impact the ocean area, disturbing the water from above, then tsunami is caused. As you can see in the picture, that a meteor, the alien, that will impact on the ocean area and it will disturb the water, and finally this water will cause tsunami. Then landslides. When there is landslides in mountains, in the sea, the tsunami is caused and the effect fell at base. Then why this tsunami is destructive? Okay, there is no effect of tsunami in sea, even if we are only half to 1 kilometer from the coast. Tsunami may come in waves with a time gap of 40 minutes to 1 hour between successive major waves. In one major wave, there may be up to 10 subwaves. Although the speed of the approaching tsunami waves at coast get reduced from 700 to 800 km to 50 to 60 km per hour, they carry enormous energy. So this waves carries enormous energy because of the disturbances which has been created in this water body. The height of the waves at coast can go up to 50 to 70 feet. At point of origin, although there is a large-scale displacement of water, the increase in wavelength is a few inches only. So the retreating tsunami waves are as quick and as dangerous as their approach and cause as much as damage. So the major devastation is restricted up to 500 meter inland, and the tsunami causes more havoc along beaches which have ocean thousands of meters deep near the coast in comparison. If the shallow water extends to more than 100 km, the effect will be that much less. The fast moving water associated with inundating tsunami can crush homes and other coastal structures. Then where the tsunami is being occurring frequently? Tsunami occurs most frequently in the Pacific Ocean, but area global phenomenon, they are possible wherever large bodies of water are found, including inland lakes where they can be caused by landslides. Japan is a nation with the most recorded tsunami in the world, the earliest recorded disaster being that of 684 AD. So Japan is the one which faces most tsunami. Then see, this is a view of a tsunami which is taken by means of a satellite. You can see that worlds in the oceans, and these worlds are the greater disturbances, and this energy which has been created over there will be moving on to the shore, and that energy, when reaches such in several feet height, it will cause destruction to the human race. And then what are the main effects of tsunami? First one is destruction. The amount of energy and the water contained in a huge tsunami can cause extreme destruction when it strikes the land. The initial wave of a huge tsunami is extremely tall. However, most damage is not sustained by this wave. Most of the damage is caused by the huge mass of water behind the initial wave front, as the height of the sea keep rising fast and flood powerfully into the coastal areas. It is the power behind the waves, the endless rushing water, that causes devastation and loss of life. Okay. So when the giant breaking waves of tsunami batter the shoreline, they can destroy everything in their path. Destruction is caused by two mechanisms: the smashing force of a wall of water traveling at high speed, and the destructive power of a large volume of water draining off the land and carrying all with it, even if the wave did not look large. Objects and buildings are destroyed by the sheer weight of the water, often reduced to skeletal foundation and exposed bedrocks. Large objects such as ships and boulders can be carried several miles inland before the tsunami subsides. So the basic effect of tsunami is destruction. As we have seen that it is destructive, it causes many damages to the buildings, to the human race, and since this water is very powerful due to the energy which has been making it more powerful, these breaking waves will cause a very bad effect on the seashores. Then tsunami waves destroy boats, buildings, bridges, cars, trees, telephone lines, power lines, and just about anything else in their way. Especially along a high seismic area known as the Ring of Fire, tsunami may have dramatic consequences as they hit less developed countries. The building infrastructure in these poorer nations are not well built and cannot withstand the impact of tsunami. Whole areas and towns are pictures of destruction as the tsunami leaves as trial devastation and misery behind it. Death. One of the biggest and worst effects of a tsunami is the cost to human life, because unfortunately escaping a tsunami is nearly impossible, as we are all aware of it. People living in coastal regions, towns and villages have no time to escape. The violent force of the tsunami results in instant death, most commonly by drowning. Building collapsing, electrocution and explosion from gas, damaged tanks and floating debris are another cause of death. Once the tsunami has struck Southeast Asia, and it has killed over 31,000 people in Sri Lanka only, leaving 23,000 injured. So you've seen the dreadful effect of tsunami. Then another important aspect is disease. Tsunami waves and the receding water are very destructive to structures in the run-up zone. The areas close to coast are flooded with seawater, damaging the infrastructure such as sewage and freshwater supplies for drinking. Flooding and contamination of drinking water can cause disease to spread in tsunami hit areas. Illness such as malaria arise when water is stagnant and contaminated. Under these conditions, it is difficult for people to stay healthy and for disease to be treated. So infections and illness can spread very quickly, causing more death. Next, let's see the environmental impacts. Tsunami not only destroy human life but have a devastating effect on insects, animals, plants, and natural resources. A tsunami will change the landscape. It uproots trees and plants and destroy animal habitats such as nesting sites for birds. Land animals are killed by drowning and sea animals are killed by population if dangerous chemicals are washed away into the seas, thus poisoning the marine life. The impact of a tsunami on the environment relates not only to the landscape and animal life, but also to the man-made aspect of the environment. Solid waste and disaster debris are most crucial environmental problem faced by tsunami-hit country. Combined with the issue of waste is that of hazardous materials and toxic substance that can be inadvertently mixed up with ordinary debris. These include asbestos, oil, fuel, and other industrial raw materials and chemicals. Rapid cleanup of affected areas can result in inappropriate disposal methods, including air burning and open dumping, leading to secondary impact on the environment. Contamination of soil and water is a sound key environmental impact of tsunami. Salination of water bodies such as rivers, well, inland lakes, and groundwater aquifers can occur in most cases. This also affects the soil fertility of agricultural lands due to salination and debris contamination, which will affect yields in the medium and long term. Sewage, septic tanks, and toilets are damaged, contaminating the water supply. Then cost. Massive cost hit communities and nations when a tsunami happens. That is, victims and survivors of the tsunami need immediate help from rescue teams. Government around the world may help with the cost of bringing aid to devastated areas. National institutions, the United Nations, other international organizations, community groups and NGOs, and a variety of other entities come together to provide different kinds of aid and services. There might also be appeals and donations from people who have been pictures of the area in the media. So we know that many victims and the survivors, they need an immediate help or the rescue. From the rescue team, they need the help. And we know that they have lost all their home, like shelter, food things, clothing, etc. So they need money or they need that necessity, the basic necessities to be fulfilled, right? So many international organizations may come forward to help them at such situations. We do all remember during our flood time also we have done a lot of things to help the poor, means people who are affected by it. The total financial cost of the tsunami could be millions or even billions of dollars of damage to coastal structures and habitats. It is difficult to put an exact figure on the monetary cost, but the cost may represent an important share of national GDP. Then we know absolutely this psychological effect. The victims of tsunami undergo psychological problems which can last for years because many might have lost their close one. So the children might have lost their parents and the parents might have lost their children. So this all may lead them to a depression. So they have to come out of it. See, if suppose per people around 31,000 people have died in tsunami, it means what will be the mindset of the people who are living there, who are so close to them, their parents, their children. So it will surely bring an enormous difficulties in the psychological aspect. Then signs of approaching tsunami. Often no advance warning of an approaching tsunami. An earthquake felt near a body of water may be considered an indication that a tsunami will shortly follow. Okay, so if an earthquake is there, so we can make sure tsunami will be following it. Then warning of tsunami. Early warning comes from nearby animals as they sense danger and flee to higher grounds. Tsunami walls for reduction in the damage. When an earthquake of more than 7.5 on Richter scale is detected by sensors placed on the surface of the seafloor, tsunami watch is issued. If tidal station confirm follow-up wave, tsunami warning follows. Precise time at different points on the coast can be predicted, but the height of the wave, its size and duration cannot be gauged. Then the warning is lifted after an area is clear of dangerous waves for 2 or more hours. Then monitoring of tsunami. So there will be a tsunami warning system. It is used to detect tsunami in advance and issue warnings to prevent loss of life and damage. It is made up of two equally important components: a network of sensors to detect tsunami and communication infrastructure to issue timely alarms to permit evacuation of the coastal area. Then there are two distinct types of tsunami warning, that is international and regional tsunami warnings. When operating, seismic alerts are used to instigate the watches and warnings. The data from observed sea level height are used to verify the existence of tsunami. Other systems have been proposed to augment the warning procedures. For example, it has been suggested that the duration and frequency content of wave energy is indicative of an earthquake tsunami potential. Next, let's move on to the prevention part. Loss of life and property can be reduced by proper planning. Tsunami warnings can be made to aware people. Stay away from all low-lying coastal areas. Never go down the shore to watch tsunami. Stay out of low-lying danger areas until an all clear is issued by competent authority. So we all know that the greatest disaster which we faced during the 2004 December is a tsunami. It has killed nearly 30,000 people in Sri Lanka, and many people were left injured. They were left without homes and all. So basically, this is a very big disaster, and also we know the mitigation. We have to like how it could be mitigated. We have to make use of the warning systems which we are receiving, and we should like give importance to the alarming systems which we are getting. So the evacuation process and the rescue operations should take place immediately based on that aspect. Then, so by this we have come to the end of this portion, that tsunami. So I will be sending you some YouTube links also regarding the some of the animated videos. So please go through it and study this portion. So we have one more portion left in this module, that is cyclones, which we will be dealing it tomorrow. Thank you.